Time magazine has a new cover story called The Return of the Silent Majority, which shows that most voters are not partisans, are not Tea Partiers, but are moderates who are looking for more civility and compromise in their politics. Joining me now is Joe Klein, columnist for Time magazine and the author of that cover story. Thanks for joining me tonight, Joe.
Good to be here, Lawrence.
Joe, in your piece, you say you got out there on the road. By the way, I consider that cheating in political punditry, you getting out there. Talking to actual voters, that's not fair. We're supposed to stay in studios in New York or Washington and tell America what those voters are thinking. But okay, you had to cheat, get out there in the car and talk to them. And you write that what you found out there is that there was tolerance for the president outside of Planet Tea Party, where the most disgraceful and, dare I say, un-American insinuations still fester. Obama is assumed to be intelligent and honest. He is assumed to be trying hard to find compromises between the parties on most issues, and he is also assumed to be in over his head, a good man who has proved to be a disappointing leader. Joe, I didn't read anything else in there about any particular praise for any other politicians.
Well, there was praise for Mitt Romney. There are an awful lot of traditional Republicans. I spoke to a lot of small businessmen on this road trip. By the way, it was 19 days, 2,976 miles, about 15 town meetings with Time readers who, reached out to me and wanted to meet with me. And a lot of them really were straight ahead conservative Democrats or moderate Republicans, a lot of Romney voters out there, and some who are still looking.
The NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows that President Obama is ahead of Mitt Romney in a one-on-one matchup, 46-44. That's basically a tie within the margin of error. He's ahead of Herman Cain by a big margin, 49-38, and he really wipes out Rick Perry at 51-39. So President Obama is still the front runner in this race. They're going to have to get in there, and Romney, if he's the nominee, is going to have to get in there and take it away from him. How do you see a Romney-Obama race shaping up? Republicans like Ann Coulter have feared that Romney is too much like President Obama to beat him.
Well, you know what? It's kind of hilarious that the top of this program was about Herman Cain and that Romney is not getting credit for what I thought was one of the better debate performances I'd ever seen. In the past, Romney has been kind of cold and not very engaging. I thought for the first time on Tuesday night, this is a guy who could stand with the President of the United States and give him a real tussle. I think it would be a very close race.
It seems Perry really has sharpened Romney's game. I agree with you, Joe. His debate performances have just gotten better and better. But he has trouble in Republican world. Let's listen to what Rush Limbaugh is now saying about Mitt Romney. We don't have it. I thought we had it. I will read to you what Rush is saying. He's saying Romney's not a conservative. He's not. And, some of his audience is disappointed in when he says it. You can argue with me all day long, says Rush, but he's not a conservative. He goes on and on about that. I want to point out that Rush was very much against the candidacy of John McCain, as John McCain was on his road to the nomination last time, too. So the Rush curse it doesn't exactly stop Republicans on their way to the nomination.
Rush Limbaugh's definition of what a conservative isn't a definition of what a conservative is. We have a poll out this week too, the Time magazine poll. 89% of the American people want to have politicians who make compromises on big issues like deficit reduction, and over 70% want to see higher taxes on the wealthy. We see this in poll after poll after poll. In our poll, only 11% identified themselves as supporters of the Tea Party, while 54% had positive feelings toward the Occupy Wall Street movement. What I saw out in the country was that people were sick of the kind of bloviating that Rush Limbaugh does. He has his audience, but it's a small audience.
Joe, you say that the swing voter, the voters who are going to control the outcome of this election are looking for a moderate. Is President Obama going to be seen as that moderate by the time we get to November?
Well, I think he is seen as a moderate by most voters, but there is this tremendous megaphone on the right, and, these are right-wingers, not conservatives. Right-wingers use the word socialism an awful lot, and they talk about him apologizing for America and all these other things that most of the people, and I was driving through a very conservative part of this country, through Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, most people do not see him that way.
Joe Klein of Time Magazine, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.